Okay guys, step one in the hibachi series is prep. Prep is probably the most important part of this because it's very time consuming and you got to make sure you get everything cut and ready, because once you start making your hibachi meal, everything goes really fast. So you can't be over here chopping vegetables while something else is cooking because it's such a quick process. You need everything ready. So what I'm going to show you right now is what I like to do for my prepping. For the hibachi vegetables, you really can use anything you have on hand. Most of the time I like to do broccoli. That's my son's favorite, so I tend to always put that in my meal. And today we're going to do carrots, onions, cabbage, and zucchini. And what I went ahead and did beforehand was wash all of my vegetables, and I also cut my cabbage and peeled my onions, and I peeled my carrots just to save time for the video. So the first one that I'm going to do is probably the one that is easiest. Move everything over so I have room on my cutting board, and I'm just going to start cutting my zucchini. You cut the ends off of it, and I also have a little bag over here to catch all of my trash. You cut the ends off, and then you can decide whatever you want to do as far as your slices. You can either do just regular circle slices, or what I like to do is I like to do half crescent moon slices, just so that they cook a little quicker, and they're also easier to eat so that you're not having to cut up your vegetables. So I just cut it in half, and I just cut along the zucchini and make nice little uniform slices. And that's usually about the size that I like to go with. And so once I'm done cutting my zucchini, I'm going to put it at the bottom of my bowl. And then let's go with the onions, since it was right next to me. Yes, they're onions. And I like to cut them, again, in like crescent moons, just because you don't want your onion slices to be too small. You want to be able to see them when you're cooking them, so they'll peel off and they'll be kind of like little happy faces. Okay, so let's go ahead and just slice down the same kind of uniform cuts. And if you want to go ahead and peel them apart, you can. It makes the cooking process a lot easier. Just kind of do that. And then let's go down the same one. Now you can use whatever vegetables you personally like. I just know this is usually the vegetables that you see on the hibachi line. Most of the time they don't use cabbage, because that's really is a personal preference, but I love the way that cabbage tastes with all of my other food. I love cooked cabbage, so yeah. Okay, so we've got our onions. Make sure not to cry. I already feel it in my nostrils. I do a really good job. So, okay, the carrots I went ahead and peeled and washed, like I said, and you'll want to cut off just one of the ends, because you want to keep this end for cutting purposes, because you'll see here in a minute. I like just to do this kind of motion when I'm cutting my carrots. It gives the carrots a more unified look, and they'll just be little circles like that. And I do one at a time just because I have to watch myself and I don't want to cut myself. And then once you're done, you slow down and you do the last 2 or 3 slices, and then you'll end up with this little nub right there. That's as far as I usually go. And then let's just add that to my bowl, and you do the same thing with the other one. Again, you can add 5 or 6 carrots if you want to. I pretty much will know how much my wok will hold, and so I kind of gauge it on that. So, and you can cook them in shifts if you want to too, if you've got a lot, but I like to do it all at one time. So, okay. So my next thing I have is my cabbage. I go ahead and just I almost cut half of it. This was the smaller half, and since I have a whole bunch of other vegetables, I just wanted a little bit. And again, you could cut in big slices if you like the big long pieces. What I like to do is I like to cut real thin slices So then that way, when it cuts, or when you start cooking it, it ends up making really, really nice ribbon type pieces. You see? Camera, make sure you see it. So let's just finish cutting. Okay, get that going in there. And then once you get to the edge, you have to watch out because the root of the cabbage is not really that great. I wonder if I can get that in the camera. See right there, that little line right there? You really don't want that in your meal. So once you get kind of to that spot, I just like to then cut the edges because those are still really good pieces of cabbage. And so I just kind of get all that. And even if you wanted to kind of cut the top too so that you're getting the most out of your money, you can just kind of do that. And then see all that? That would have been wasted if you would just thrown it away. So, alright. And then if you see any pieces that are really, really thick and white, they might not cook as well as the other pieces, so you can just take those out. Okay, got my cabbage, and now I've got my broccoli. These are just little broccoli crowns, and you can cut off the top part, and as you do that, you'll see that the little pieces of broccoli will come apart and make little florets. Again, you can make them as big or small as you want to. Just remember, the smaller that they are, the quicker they'll cook. And if you've got other vegetables that take a little longer, they can kind of get soggy if you're not careful. So I like to make pretty big florets in mine. And then to keep going, you just keep cutting off the little trunk part. I know when I was little, we used to call them trees, and these would be trunks. So I like both. Some people only like the florets. My son actually likes the trunk part, so I like to cut it up into big chunks to give to him. And then you just take it, and again, I already pre-washed everything, so make sure to wash it really, really good. And then I just kind of cut, again, kind of like the carrots. I don't cut all the way to the end. I just kind of, I throw those pieces away. All right, let me get the other one done. Real quick. We're almost done. Now the last one that I'm not showing that I'm going to add to my vegetables is I have just a pre-cut basket of mushrooms, and I really, really like mushrooms in my vegetables. So all I'm going to do is wash those before I put them in the stir fry. So one less thing to have to worry about. Okay, so that is my finished bowl. You can see I filled up this entire bowl full of vegetables, so hopefully they'll all fit. We never know. And then I'm going to clean off my cutting board real fast. Get most of the broccoli out of there. And I was going to tell you one tip that I like to do on my kitchen table is, I know a lot of the times when you use just a regular plastic cutting board, it doesn't stay very good on the table. And I don't like that because, like, when you're over here, you know, slicing away, this thing can move and it can really cause an accident. So a little tip that I like to do is I just like to take just a regular washcloth or kitchen towel, whatever you have on hand, and then I put this on top of there, and you would not believe the stability that you get then from just that little washcloth. So we've got our vegetables prepped, and then the next thing you need to prep is your fried rice. Fried rice is something that you just can't make rice and then add to the skillet to make fried rice. It tends to make the rice really, really like gooey, and I don't like it at all. So what I've read and what I've been doing here lately is that if you pre-cook your rice and then put it in the refrigerator, that actually makes the best fried rice. And so I actually only cooked this rice a little while ago, but it's nice and cold now. You can do it a few hours before, and you can actually even do it the day before. That's, I guess, the whole origin of fried rice, is that people wanted to see how they could reuse their old rice from the day before, and they fried it up and made something really, really yummy. So I made my rice in a rice cooker. You can do it however you like doing it. That's just the easiest way for me. Saves a lot of time and a lot of screw-ups because I'm not the best at making just regular rice on the stovetop. So that's my cooked fried rice. This was a cup of dry rice with 2 cups of water. So you can see how much just 1 cup of rice makes. It makes a whole bunch. So if you're looking to make rice for a crowd, I would probably double that or even triple that because you can't ever have enough fried rice. So another thing you need for your fried rice is some onion. I tend to start with onion and then add the egg and etc. So I want to go ahead and have my onion sliced. And this is really just a half of an onion, a regular size, I guess medium onion. And I cut it in half again. And you'll want to dice it. And you can dice the onion however you prefer. But what I like to do is I like to have the half of the onion. And then I like to slice downward. And make little uniformed cuts so that you have the little lines of the onion. I don't know if I can show you that or not, but you've got that. And then you slice downward. You turn it this way, and you slice downward. And when you do that, you automatically create these little tiny diced bits of onion. So you'll want to go the same way until you get a good little diced mix. And then I like to go back and just break up the bigger pieces that maybe weren't cut the first time. And there you go. You've got a really good thing of diced onion. And that actually produced a lot more onion than I thought. So let's go ahead and do this other one since I've already got it done. Again, you go down. Make sure you can see it. I tend to start cooking and not explain myself sometimes, so I'm working on that. And then you just go down, and I'm going to just throw those little pieces away. Alright, and there is your finished product. Alright, and for the most part, my prepping is done. I will do different steps on other things like prepping the teriyaki sauce there at the end and prepping the yum yum sauce that I like to make. And so those will be different steps. And so the next step will be, more than likely, I will first make the hibachi vegetables. So stay tuned. Thanks.